As part of this special series, we are bringing you conversations with startups and MSMEs that are contributing to India's self-reliance in the defense sector. Today, my guest is Hrishikesh Vedantam, who's the co-founder and a second generation entrepreneur of Meridian Data Labs, a company that works closely with the Indian military. Let's hear him and get insights into their journey and contribution. Hrishikesh, welcome to the show.
Hi, Sunil. It's a pleasure to be here.
Same here. So,
let's start by understanding what inspired, you and your family to start Meridian Data Labs, and why the focus on mission critical defense and industrial application.
Absolutely. So, we wanted to build our own IoT platform, a platform which was on premise, because we observed that the adoption of technology, mainly the IoT and AI side of it, has been slow because of the global cloud platform's prohibitive pricing. So that's when we identified there was a need for a secure on-premise alternative for real-time analytics. And IDEX helped us focus on defense. When we were actually working on this platform, it was exactly timely that an IDEX challenge, which was describing exactly what we are doing now, what we wanted to do, came at the right time and helped us build this competitive homegrown technology that strengthens India's ecosystem for IoT and AI adoption.
Okay, so how do you see
your company shaping India's deep tech ecosystem, especially in the defense sector?
Our sensor platform, Honeycomb and Honeycomb Edge, is going to enable a lot of use cases, striving to inspire other companies to build homegrown capabilities by setting a new standard in terms of competitive pricing. And our commitment to competitive pricing and whatever we want to deploy as technology is aimed to boost tech adoption. And because of that, we are going to see a lot more use cases, right? Today, we are building the sensor platform to acquire data and then do analytics. And because of that, there's going to be a lot more use cases that will open up. And we are open to collaborating with other companies seeking real-time data acquisition for doing analytics. And this approach that we have adopted can make India's deep tech stronger, especially in defense.
As to what Honeycomb is all about, as a structure, as an architect, could you explain that?
Honeycomb is capable of acquiring data from multiple sensors. We complement it with imaging, video, and geospatial data to make real-time analytics more meaningful. So when we have data coming from the sensors, right, we need to also collate data from, say, imaging and geospatial for say getting a more context-aware solution. So that's exactly where Honeycomb and Honeycomb Edge comes in. So it's designed for flexibility, where it can ingest data using many standards and protocols.
Defense data is critical. Time is critical. We are talking about milliseconds. And to be able to collect an information like that, let's say using drone, and then being able to get the data back, analyze it, and then a military commander on the ground be able to take a decision as to what needs to be done. Is that something your company or the solution that you're building can meet that expectation, or are you still building it?
So when I mentioned Honeycomb and Honeycomb Edge is the lightweight version of Honeycomb that can go on subsystems like drones or even UAVs. And what this is capable of doing is, when you have to take decisions on the fly, or in fact you need enough data without having to create inferences as you go, right? Something that can create inferences for you based on data it's collecting, and then you're getting it back. So if I have to put it into context, let's say we are going out for a drone surveillance, right? You send out the drone, and the drone can immediately just look at the surroundings and see what it's detecting, send back, not say the streamed video for post processing. Rather, the processing is happening on the drone, and you're only receiving text data that, this is what I have spotted. That way, you can take more context aware and faster decisions, especially in mission critical instances. But if I have to give one more use case where it is relevant, is when you have to do remote weather monitoring. So when you have an edge device that is stationed at a base station where you can do real-time analytics locally, and it sends actionable info, you need, or there is a minimal need for maintenance at that point in time. So it is very useful for places where only a few sensors exist, and having a robust IT infrastructure isn't practical.
And
I know, as Prime Minister has been saying, Atmanirbhar Bharat, and very special context to defense. And it is important that companies like yours, are building Indian solutions for the Indian Armed Forces, which is, before this podcast, you were telling me how none of this data is on cloud or internet. That means there is no chance of data leak. So it's really very critical that you're building a solution that is independent of any foreign interference, and the fact that it is homegrown makes it all the more critical. So as a only Indian startup with MOD clearance for on-premises IoT deployment, what does that milestone mean for you personally, being a second generation entrepreneur, and for the company?
Right. So that's a very interesting question. So, uh, when just give me 1 second. So when we're talking
because
about
you're the second generation, right?
thing is
You're the second
absolutely,
generation.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So when so there are two parts to this question. So when you're talking about data sensitivity, right? What we have done, but sensitivity and data security is absolutely important. So to that extent, what we have been able to do is we've developed an asymmetric encryption from the sensor to server, right, on LoRa, which is first in the world, right? And that is something that we always strive to do. And because of that, it has helped us create all our deployment on premise behind a firewall for added security. And as you mentioned, we have received uh, the clearance from MOD to adopt this technology uh, in any military base. So when we're talking about say the what it means to us personally, it's just that we have created our own entry barrier because we are first mover, right? And we don't say that this is going to give us uh, this is going to give us a, say, a monopoly rather, but it's going to help us stay in the market in a longer. We're going to welcome competition as well, but this is the standard that we have set for any other companies to enter this market.
No, that's critical.
When a company like yours, a homegrown building solution that is critical, and you're setting a very high benchmark, which means basically any other company coming in, because competition is part of business, right? So when any competitor comes up, they are meeting, at least the minimum is that they meet up to your your benchmark, and thereafter, you both compete to push it up, isn't it?
Just to secure this position, and because of that, that doesn't mean that makes us complacent, but at the same time it puts us in a position to become a premium provider of secure real-time analytics for defense and allied sectors.
So
no, you have that, being the only DoD MOD approved company to do this. What have you done differently? What have you done different that others couldn't do, which way you are in the current position that you are?
Like I said, what we have done is we've been able to develop an IoT platform with with capabilities to do AI all behind a firewall, right? Most of the IoT companies that you see all around India, or in fact mostly in the world, they use the toolkits that are provided by the major cloud providers, and then they develop their technology stack on top of it. So this created a dependency on the global three, So not only is this a challenge in the defense industry, it also puts up a challenge in adoption for even the civilian and commercial markets.
So, the Buzz AI is a Gen AI platform for defense and critical infrastructure. How is it different from general AI assistants we are used to in consumer world?
So, what we've wanted to do is we wanted to automate the documents that are uh, they're preserved in most of these places, and these documents, and we also wanted to provide domain specific knowledge, maybe the manuals, logbooks, mainly for predictive maintenance. We wanted to query whatever data that is there in the Honeycomb database along with these documents. So what we are offering as Buzz AI is not a complete product of its own. Rather, it is a complementary service to Honeycomb, where a context is created using these documents and coupled with the IoT data we are getting from these to say to predictive maintenance, preventive maintenance, and so on and so forth.
And how do you ensure data privacy and security while building AI or IoT platforms that run in sensitive, air-grabbed environments?
Like I mentioned before, we have developed an asymmetric encryption from sensor to server with a dynamic key generation, which is first in the world for LoRa technology. And all our deployment is done on premise and behind the firewall. So with that, our service can also work, without internet. Mainly it works without internet, and data never leaves the trusted environment. We don't hold any data. All of the data is behind a client's firewall. Clearance for.
That's commendable.
So could you walk us through, one of your most impactful deployment, perhaps in maritime or smart bases or weather intelligence?
Well, one of our most impactful deployments, I'd say, is the weather intelligence for forward bases. So, real-time weather and imaging data helps bases decide when it is safe to do a sortie. So many of these forward bases, what happens is they are, say, 100 to 200 kilometers away, and we have someone there who's just giving a phone call saying, it's good to go now. And before you start the sortie, the conditions change rather quickly. So having a station there, a weather system there that can relay data in real time, saying, this is when it's good to go, this is when it's not good to go. It can prevent multiple accidents like we've seen, things maybe even in the Himalayas that we've seen last year, and what we've even seen even this year before Operation Sindoor happened with one of the helicopters in the West, right? Western India. So this is one of the most impactful deployments. And the reason it's impactful is because it extends not only to defense use, it's also applicable in civilian use cases. If we consider pilgrimage safety, like we've seen with the helicopter cases in Kedarnath, right? The same thing is applicable in civilian use cases.
Very true.
And not just for flying, also if you've seen about I think 3 or 4 days back there was this avalanche on Siachen, and we lost some soldiers there. Anything to do with weather, if you could get advanced inputs that can save critical, that can save precious lives, especially in areas like Siachen glacier and all. So yeah, 100%, and that's probably, I'm sure your company probably is working on that as well, where ground troops also get the intelligence, weather intelligence, much ahead of time, so that they can take the a corrective or a preventive action. So as a defense and industrial sector are known to be conservative when it comes to adopting new technology. We all know that, right? And I've been from the armed forces, so I understand better. So how do you overcome that resistance and provide reliability of your systems?
A very good question. And to be honest, it's very difficult to make any of these conservative sectors adopt technology. But when it is the need of the hour, and the government itself is taking proactive steps and creates paths like IDEX, the willingness to accept these technologies are higher. These technologies are rather welcome. And as a startup, we have chosen the IDEX path, and it is a wonderful door opener for young companies like us. It is, although it is still difficult, but we are going through that journey so that we can make an impact to the defense ecosystem, to the level where we also want to contribute to defense exports. And in the process, we are willing to tackle all these difficult paths and establish the credibility that we want to strive for.
No, true. We have been as MyStartup TV, we've been in touch with IDEX. We've met some of the officials, and my first impression was that creating IDEX was like having a post box number where you could send a communication to. Otherwise, to connect with the defense or MOD to get, to get even your idea across. Forget about getting the trials or showcasing your product or even selling to them was a challenge. The very first step. So having IDEX has solved that big problem. Now you know where to go as a startup, as a MSME, and okay, this is the post box that I can go to and offer my service to them, show them my product, and then that leads to the next step, isn't it?
So where do you see AI and IoT
and geospatial spatial analytics heading in the next 5 years for defense especially and mission critical industries?
See, now how we see it is that all these tech areas will converge, right? Without geospatial reference, diverse real-time data streams, and all of these cannot make sense, right? All these will need to come together to provide purpose-driven analytics, right? And because of this, we will see the defense will see a boom of tech adoption with rapid progress over the next decade or so.
Okay, so do you believe India can become self-reliant in deep tech for defense, and how is your company contributing to that vision?
I believe we cannot see self-reliance as extreme conditions between a 0 or a 1. We cannot see it that way. It's either self-reliant or not. It's that black and white cannot be made. But we are in the gray right now, and we are steadily increasing the Indian component. MDL's homegrown platform, for starters, is something that we have built ground up in India. And when we are deploying our software for our clients, we are promoting maximum use of made in India hardware. And with steps that we are taking like this, we strongly believe that India will achieve full Atmanirbharta with the current way the things are going and the kind of efforts that not only we are putting, but everyone all across the country are doing.
Very true. I mean, it is right from the entrepreneur to the PMO, where everybody is talking about it. Everybody wants that to happen. And then the net beneficiaries are the armed forces who are getting what they want in time, within that timeline that they want. So beyond defense, do you see opportunities for your technology in civil or commercial application?
Absolutely. There is huge potential in replacing the public cloud requirement with an on-premise solution for industries and consumers. The main reason why I say the replacing the public cloud is important is because of the hidden charges mechanism as becomes a constraint in adoption of technology. If I had to put it into perspective, such a platform is a great fit for telecom sectors when we can do a B2B or a B2B2C initiative with taking telecom as a partner. Creates a lot of avenues for adoption of IoT in general, right? And because of this enables a broad AI/ML benefits for the larger ecosystem. So the way we have built our platform is also dual use, and keeping all of this in mind, this is the true meaning of building dual use technology.
Tech company, is not easy. It doesn't matter where you are. Definitely in our country. So, what are some of the toughest challenges you faced as a founder, co-founder?
the first thing is funding is always a major hurdle in the Indian context, especially when you're in the defense ecosystem. There is definitely that inertia. And something that you've mentioned before is also the challenge where there is the resistance for adoption of new technologies. Uh, that is mainly because the procurement policies that are there right now aren't completely founder friendly. And overcoming these challenges requires persistence, patience, and the know how to navigate the bureaucracy.
Very true.
So
Those are
the
the
few of the critical things that every startup, it doesn't matter, every company that needs to have it as part of their business strategy, business development, that these two things are addressed. So if you were to give one piece of advice to young entrepreneurs who aspire to build defense techs or startups, what would it be?
I like to keep it simple and say, stay hungry, stay foolish.
definitely foolish, I would say, when you're getting into a challenging environment.
So, SwarAksha Mahotsav is close by, and you're a partnering company. You're going to be part of the event. So, what are your thoughts about the event? Have you been before part of this, or is it the first time? And what are you hoping, if it's the first time, or if you've already been? How has been your experience?
This is our first time participating in SwarAksha Mahotsav, and we as a company are excited to be there. We are looking forward to interacting with like-minded people who are willing to adopt new technology, and it's also we're also looking forward to it being a platform for us to showcase what we've been working on, which is also pretty exciting.
So before I let you go, MyStartup TV, we are a media house dedicated to entrepreneurs, startups like yours, and our vision or the aim is to showcase businesses across the sector. We are sector agnostic, and through all our medium, all our platform, which is web television, we broadcast 24/7, our digital magazine that comes monthly, our podcast, our OTT, even the to be soon launched a news portal. What do you think the kind of work we are doing?
I think what you're doing is a great initiative in terms of giving visibility to budding companies, right, who are trying to, first of all, even participate in the theme of Atmanirbharta. And in fact, even platforms like this also help in in companies that are not that well known to get their own time in the limelight. So what you're doing is great job. It's a great initiative for sure.
Hrishikesh, for those kind words. And viewers, we are in conversation with Hrishikesh Vedantam, who is the co-founder and second generation entrepreneur of Meridian Data Labs. This is part of the series for SwarAksha Mahotsav 2025, which will be held in Visakhapatnam between 24th to 26th of September. Do join us at the same time tomorrow for the next company. Hrishikesh, thank you for being on our show.